Hey everybody, welcome back to PathMonk Presents. PathMonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. PathMonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding PathMonk to your website in seconds, letting the artificial intelligence do all the work, and increase conversions by 50% while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to PathMonk Presents. We're really excited for today's episode because we've got Brooke, the marketing manager over at SpaceBase. Brooke, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Of course, we're really looking forward to hearing what you guys are all about and what you guys are doing from a marketing and growth perspective. So, before we dive into anything too detailed or really get into the nuts and bolts of things, why don't you give our audience a little bit of a general understanding about SpaceBase? What is it, and what do you guys do over there?
Absolutely. I'd love to share. SpaceBase is a modern lease accounting and lease management software. We actually started in 2016, so we've been around quite a while. We aren't as heavy on the marketing, so some people haven't heard of us before, but we do have a really strong brand. We actually started in 2016 with Airbnb. They needed a software that would help them manage their leases. They didn't have anything digital. So our head engineer built it in collaboration with Airbnb and Deloitte. And after that happened, they kind of realized like, oh, there's so many people that need this software besides just Airbnb and Deloitte. So we started selling it to other companies and they loved it. And because we kind of built it out for Airbnb, like we were able to customize it for other companies that we work with, like United Airlines for their airplane leases, and for Doc Martens for their retail leases. We were able to make new kinds of software for them to really customize it to the needs of our users, which is makes it so easy to use for everyone.
Yeah, I noticed when I was checking out the website, all of the different like trusted by logos on your website. You guys have some
Yeah.
awesome brands that you're working with on there. Airbnb, huge, but you mentioned a few others. Really, really good. Awesome to hear that. So let's dive into how things are going from a bit of a marketing perspective. So maybe you can tell us, in terms of the companies or industries that you work in, who is it that you're looking to serve? And more specifically, are there any sort of roles that you're more looking to work with more directly when people are kind of acquiring this software? So, yeah, who do you serve? What channels do you work in, and what sort of problems are you solving for them?
Sure. We serve a variety of companies and of users. It really, I mean, it's so broad. We do anything from farm equipment leases to land leases to commercial leases. I would say the only thing we don't do really is residential. But a lot of people will come to us because they're either using Excel to manage all their, commercial leases,
Old school.
um, or they have the old paper, the files and the file cabinet, and they're just trying to like get it organized. And it's like, no, like we'll help you like put this in a system. You can literally use like OCR search technology to like find details in a lease on our platform, which is super helpful. You can do, like critical dates reporting for accounting. We have a ton of accounting reporting, so a lot of accounting teams use us as well. But yeah, we're definitely hands-on too. Like our customer support team is like right there with you the entire way too, which I think is a little bit unique to SpaceBase. I think sometimes you have an account manager and like they'll reach out to you like every few months. But if you need an answer on something, like our team is back to you within, a few hours usually.
Nice. I find it interesting that you guys have both the real estate management, but also kind of like the accounting portion of it as well. Is there one or the other that came first, or how did they kind of end up working together? Maybe you can talk about that, about how
Yeah.
not how it was created, but also like how did the accounting come, I assume, afterwards?
Yes. So we started with the lease management, because that was kind of the need for Airbnb. And then some regulations changed in 2016. Like ASC 842 is one of the accounting regulations. and accountants needed to be able to access this lease information. And so we kind of created in software, in SpaceBase, like in the software, we created a way for accountants to go in there and pull the reporting that they needed to stay compliant with ASC 842, which was huge. Is so desirable for companies as well, because when you're trying to do it by hand, it's complicated. There's mistakes. Like when you can have a system that you can just put it in and it takes care of everything for you, it makes it so much easier and saves you hours.
Oh, I totally agree. That's something awesome. And it's nice that these things kind of pop up organically, right? It's like you built it for one
Yeah.
reason, and pretty soon, not long after, you realize another solution that it can potentially solve as well. That's
I've
awesome.
been seeing it a lot lately with AI in general, like some of the new technologies that are coming out. It's fun to watch it play out because it's like, oh, I can use this tool to save me time instead of, having to do it the long way.
I agree.
Super helpful.
I totally agree. I want to jump back to kind of what marketing is doing over there and talk a little bit about the audience. Maybe you can tell us, how does your audience typically find out about you right now? Is it mostly inbound, like organic SEO? Or are you guys running a bunch of ads, maybe some email marketing? What are some of those top acquisition channels?
So we haven't changed a lot since we started. We've made internal updates and optimized our software. But marketing wise, we've kind of always had just like the standard. A lot of our traffic comes from inbound leads, or people who are our clients will recommend us to other companies that their friends work at or that they know people at. We're really fortunate that we have so many advocates from our customers. They love us. They love working with us. So that's been incredible to see. Just the support behind what we do. As far as marketing efforts go, we are trying to pivot a little bit. I'm newer to the team. We actually just kind of started the marketing, which is, yeah, it's super exciting to be kind of at the front of that, the beginning of it. But we want to start kind of doing more outbounding because I don't think people have heard of us as much as some of the other larger lease management or lease accounting softwares out there in the world. We actually are redoing our website right now as well to just get people more information about our software and to make it a little bit easier to understand. But typically LinkedIn and word of mouth is kind of what people have, how they've gotten to us in the past.
Okay, so it's early days at the marketing department for SpaceBase. I'll be
Yes.
interested to hear what you guys do and what direction you go in. It's always interesting to figure out, like which marketing channels end up proving their value early on. And I know these things change really quickly. Like maybe year number one, your ads do really well, or year number two, all of a sudden your organic SEO takes off. But I'd be really interested to check in maybe like 12 months down the line and see how things are going.
Yeah, I will keep you updated, I'm
Thank you
sure.
very much. All right. So, speaking of the website, I know you guys are going through some changes and looking to make some updates to the website, but maybe you can talk about what sort of role does it play in terms of your current client acquisition? It sounds like it's probably not as much, let's say, a base for marketing to drive a bunch of traffic to, considering the amount of traffic that you guys are currently driving. Maybe it's more of like a qualifying tool, or maybe you're using it as a way to educate potential clients. Like maybe there's a lot of educational material on there. So why don't you tell me, like, what role is the website playing currently, and what are some major strengths or weaknesses that you find in the website at the moment?
Definitely. I think that we have a really strong call to action right at the beginning to get people to do a demo right away. I think that's kind of where we shine, is once we get people to actually convert. Our demos have a really high conversion rate because people can see the software and see what they like. We are hesitant to give away like too much of our software on our website, just because we want to keep that, we want to keep that from the public eye. It's a really unique software, and we don't want, that sensitive information to get out. But we do keep it simple for now, and I think that's worked for us in the past. We do want to add educational material. I think that's so important and so helpful for people, especially like, I don't know, just having resources to look to, and it helps with SEO as well. We have some really knowledgeable people in the accounting world and lease management world on our team as well, that their insight I think would be really valuable to people who could potentially be customers. Um, One thing I saw that I would love to do at some point that I thought was really interesting, um, there's a it's like a car, buy a new car website, and they have at the very top of their browser, they have this quiz that you can take, and it tells you like the value of your car, but it's interactive and it gives you like very, very, what's the word? Like very detailed information that's relevant to the user or to the purchaser. I think doing something like that, like whether it's like a quiz about how well do you know your AST 842 regulations or something like that. Like I think that engages with people a lot more. And something like that could be, potentially we could implement that someday.
Yeah, like, is this a tool that can solve the problems you're looking for? Maybe not even just to talk about the value of SpaceBase, but to
Yeah.
see, like, is this even the right tool for you to begin with? Because sometimes people will reach out and they're looking for a tool, and ultimately, like, maybe you guys just aren't the tool for them, and you waste a few hours going back and forth about doing some sort of a demo or a sales pitch, and you could have saved that time. So, yeah,
Yeah.
doing some one of these kind of like interactive either questionnaires, or some people call them like a value calculator or something like that, where you interact and
Mhm.
try to figure out, is this the tool for me? I think that could be a really useful tool for you guys as well. So,
Yeah, and
um,
I think it's so fun to be at the beginning of it where we get to make these changes and like see
yeah,
what
total
happens.
freedom.
And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you have that. You can do heat maps and see what people are reacting to. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of companies don't have the freedom, like you said, to just kind of like try things out and see what works.
Yeah, early days, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to move a little bit away from SpaceBase and a little bit more towards Brooke as the marketing professional, and ask you some questions more so about you and your role. I hope
Okay.
that's okay.
Yes,
So,
it is.
so first and foremost, PathMonk is a website or a tool all about increasing website conversions, as we talked about in the intro. But we wanted to get your opinion, like, from your marketing professional experience, what do you think makes a great converting website? Like, are there any sort of tools or tips or methods or approaches that you might recommend to anyone out there listening?
I think that the more useful information that you have, the more engaging the website is. I think providing people with tools that they can use that'll help them. I know those are the kind of websites like I gravitate towards in the marketing world. Are websites that give me like very detailed information about how to do something or the history of something. Or I mean, I love to learn too, so it's kind of just like how I am. But I think the more engaging content you have, the better. I think there is an overload of content,
Mm.
especially recently with AI. Like people will just, write whatever they want or put up pictures that aren't even, real photos or anything like that. And that's okay if that's like the way you want to do marketing. But I do think that you get more attention, like valuable attention when you're taking the time to do it in a way that people actually need the information.
I would agree. I think there is a lot of, I don't want to say useless, but more like extra content and
Yes, like
extra
repeated.
language out there. Yes.
Mhm.
And I was checking out your website, and right without even scrolling down at all, one of the first lines it says, SpaceBase is a modern lease accounting and lease management solution. Like, in the opening sentence. That's it. Like, okay,
Simple.
if you needed a lease management or lease accounting software, like, clearly you're in the right place immediately.
Yeah.
There's no sort of this fog and mirrors BS, like,
None
am
of
I
the
in the right place?
jargon.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are immediately qualified or disqualified from the moment you log onto this website. So I think that's great, and I think I would agree with you. Yeah, making it simple, and then yeah, you can always take the time to add extra stuff elsewhere,
Yeah.
but to be straight to the point at the beginning, and then once you have someone's attention, okay, let's give them all of that helpful extra material.
I actually think that stripe.com does a really good job with creating content that is still like marketing, like they're branding themselves. Like they have these testimonial videos on their website and on YouTube. But they're incredible. Like they went to one of the offices and had a snowball fight with the team members that of this company that they partnered with.
Yeah.
And it's just the story that they told is so fun and entertaining to watch, like, and it makes you want to like read more about them and engage with their website. I think that helps a lot.
I wish they would have come to our office and had a snowball fight with us. Okay, so moving on to the next question, I wanted to ask, in terms of your day-to-day work, like what does this look like? Are there any sort of key tasks that you're focusing on? Is there any sort of work that you're doing every single day, and then maybe some things that you're only touching upon weekly or monthly? Maybe you can kind of break that down for our audience.
Definitely. Yeah, there's quite a few things that I try to do every week or every day. Um, Data analytics is a big one. So using Google Analytics. I don't know if you're familiar with Looker Studios, but it's kind of a refined version of Google Analytics. It's a little bit more user friendly because Google Analytics can have a steep learning curve at the
Hmm.
beginning. So just seeing where our traffic's coming from, every time we have a demo come in, I try to look and see what that source is and checking, the spending and seeing what sources are actually generating leads for us. That I do pretty much every day. Creating content. We have blogs that we write, so I help with those. LinkedIn updates. Just yeah, a lot of the social stuff. And then another platform that I use pretty much every day is G2 and sometimes Capterra as well. But right now I found G2 to be a little bit more prevalent for our specific marketing. But they have a whole profile and you have to work on generating reviews on there and updating it. And I'm working on a video right now for that. So I would say a lot of social media, a lot of content creating and data analytics would be kind of what I do daily.
Awesome. A lot of those tools are things we utilize over here on a daily basis as well. And yeah, I would totally agree. But especially when we talk about kind of like A/B testing different marketing materials online, figuring out does this work better than that?
Yes.
Always going into the analytics and figuring out, okay, like every week there's probably some sort of test that did this work or did it not work? And you have to go into the analytics to find out. So yeah, anyone out there that isn't familiar with their Google Analytics account or is looking for some sort of alternative, yeah, definitely take the time to get familiar with that learning curve.
Yes. And we
Uh,
hired somebody on Upwork actually who is like a specialist to help us get it set up. And that was so helpful. Like that was definitely the move.
yeah, yeah, get straight to the experts for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of kind of improving upon ourselves, I know that there's a lot of content out there, and there's a lot of different places that we can go to kind of consume all of this content, but we're always looking to get smarter, better, faster, stronger, whatever they say. But
Yeah.
maybe you can tell us, like, where do you go to learn and stay up to date with anything marketing related?
I like to listen to podcasts and read books. A podcast I really like is called the AI Daily Brief. And it's not completely marketing, but it has like little hints of it in it. I mean, AI, feel like is everything that comes out, a lot of it could be applied to marketing or they're marketing it. So it's like both sides, you get to learn a little bit about it. And it's just interesting to follow. Like I don't know, I'm just kind of fascinated by the growth of it and to see where and what happens with AI. There's also some like real estate, like commercial real estate podcasts that I listen to,
Mm.
which is like pretty in our market. That's a little bit more niche. And then I don't know if you've heard of PMA, it's Product Market Alliance.
Haven't heard of it myself.
No, it's a product marketing group that they have a Slack channel actually that I just joined as well. And it's just a group of marketers that anytime you have a question or need help with something, like you can just pop it into the chat. And then all of these, I mean, you think there's 40,000 people that are part of it on the Slack channel at least, and they'll all like give you feedback and like answers. And there was literally someone who was talking about a marketing campaign that they were doing and needed help with it. And somebody dropped in an Excel template of like how they should plan it out. And it was so cool. I was like, this is such a great resource. So that's one of my favorites. I feel like you can ask direct questions and like get answers really quickly for with that group.
People are always talking about how they like to leverage their networks, especially when it comes to staying up to date, growing, learning, things like that. And usually the answer for something like that will be like LinkedIn, which is a pretty obvious place to kind of leverage your network,
Yes,
right? But this is a really interesting, I don't think people mention that enough, which is using some of these publicly available Slack channels where there are thousands of people. I know I use one of them for our partnerships. There are a lot of awesome partnership opportunities out there and some publicly available Slack channels as well. And yeah, I think that is a really, really good one. Yeah, public Slack channels where it's kind of almost like going to a Reddit thread and
it
posting and being
is.
like, has anyone run into this problem
So
before?
that's so funny that you say that because I actually was looking on Reddit for like resources for marketers because I want to continue like learning and growing in my role, especially like having a software that we're newer to marketing it. I think there's a challenge in that in itself. So we're going to try things and getting new ideas. So I got on Reddit and I was looking for some groups like this, and someone put, oh, you should join PMA, like on a thread that I saw. And I was like, oh, like I'll join that. But I didn't even know about all these Slack channels. It's such a good resource.
It really is. Okay. So we're going to move into the final section of the conversation. The following questions are going to be a little less focused on work, a little bit more playful, thought-provoking, but they're also considered to be like the rapid fire round. So we're looking for a little
Okay.
bit more crisp, shorter, to the point type answers. But if you feel like you need to give a little bit longer answer, of course, feel free to do so. So I'm going to jump into things with a little bit of an easier question. What is the last book that you read?
It's called Pachinko, and I normally read like a little bit more educational books, but this is a fun read. Um, spans like 5 generations about immigrants that moved from Japan, or they moved from Korea to Japan. And a little context, I was in Japan for the last month, so this book was like super relevant. Super interesting historical fiction. Highly recommend it.
Awesome. Okay, next. If there were no boundaries in technology, I'm talking no boundaries, like magic, snap a finger, anything is possible type thing. What would be the one thing that you would want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
Probably data analytics. Something to automate, like when you sign up for a new website or put your software on a new website that just automatically does like all the tagging, all the tracking.
Mm,
That would be very nice.
yeah, all that initial setup,
Uh-huh.
all of the time-consuming tasks with all of the new technology
And
you
maybe it
see.
exists. I don't know, but I haven't heard of it yet.
I know. Maybe in the next 2, 3, 4 months, AI is, rapidly improving every single day. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. On a similar tone, if there was one repetitive task that you could automate out of all the repetitive tasks that you do, what would it be?
Mm, that is a great question. Um, I'm not sure if I have one specifically that really drives me nuts. I guess maybe just like every time there's a demo, like I have to go to Google Analytics, like find where it came from and then put it in Excel. Like automating that would be so helpful.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't have to go in and like do all the searching.
Automating the data attribution.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I'm
It
keen
all
on
comes
that.
back to the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're coming to the last question, which is a little bit more personal. But what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. I think there's so many resources at your disposal and take advantage of that. Yeah.
Really wise words. Well, Brooke, thank you so much for joining the show today. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
having you on. If anyone is out there looking for any sort of real estate management, accounting type software, SpaceBase is there for you. Brooke, thank you so much for joining today. We really enjoyed it. Hope you have an awesome day.
Thank you. And thank the team at PathMonk for having me on today.
Of course.